Yo guys, what's going on? Warshack back at it again with some more card reviews, my favorite thing ever. So in this one we have, I believe, what is this, Demon Hunter and Mage. So let's take a look at these new Demon Hunter and Mage cards. First ones first, we got Horn of the Feasting. The 4 mana, summon 3 2/1 raptors with Rush. Outcast, give them immune while attacking this turn. So we haven't actually seen any good outcast cards in quite some times. I feel like it was the Demon Hunter keyword that was, I guess, forgotten because it hasn't really mattered in quite some time, and it was pretty important back when it first came out. However, playing this card kind of just feels bad given the fact that you could just run a lease. You pay 4 mana for a lease, and then you just like get this essentially for free. I guess you don't give them immune. I don't know. I guess this fits into like, if you can generate this card for free, sure. I don't think you would play this. I think this is like an arena card or like something you would play and not like the standard format. It just doesn't feel strong. Obviously them getting immune is kind of cool, but if you compare this to like the old token Demon Hunter card where you summoned, what was it, like 6 performers or 7 performers, right? And then if you killed them all, it resummoned them all, and it wasn't even an outcast card. So like I just don't know what we're doing here. This card, in my opinion, lacks flavor. It lacks a point, and I'm not really sure why I'm looking at it. Moving towards this 3 mana 4/2 Skittish Saucer. Again, I'm not really sure what this has to do with Demon Hunters. We have a little like Portolian thing stealing a bushel of probably deadly fruits. Reduce the cost of adjacent cards in your hand by 1. Obviously, mana cheat is always good. Is 3 mana 4/2 discount by 1 good enough for Demon Hunter in regards to discount? I do not believe that to be the case. I think this card is garbage. It may be as garbage as the card we just previously looked at, which is sad given the fact that we just took a look at, what was it earlier? Some Death Knight and Druid, and most of those cards look pretty good. So this is a slight disappointment and embarrassing. All right, this guy looks like he could be something fierce. 6 mana 6/5 Demon Beast Kindred. Another what I would consider a failed mechanic. If you were to give me one name of a card without looking that's Kindred in the previous set that actually sees play, I'll give you a gold star today, chat. I don't think a single person... All right, I lied. It's the Murloc one. That one's bullshit. That one doesn't count because that's stupid. A different one besides Murloc Paladin. Anyway, deal 6 damage to your opponent's left and rightmost minions. They're so scared. Imagine if this said, if they're like, you know how, like, what was it, like Mutualisk, like the Demon Hunter card that you could attack a card and it would cleave left and rights could still be face. That was insane, and that card doesn't even see play. You know what this means? That means this card doesn't see play. If Mutualisk gets to attack face and kill 2 minions, and this has to be kindreded, and it doesn't go face, and it costs, I think, more mana. It's 4. Also damages minions next to whoever this attacks and the enemy hero. This doesn't see play. I guess you have to give this Rush, which isn't hard because you have the location. But if that doesn't see play, there is absolutely no way that this sees play. But maybe Demon Beast Demon Hunter is good. The likelihood of this... Okay, we have the 7 mana Texaurus, 3/6 Mech Beast, Taunt. Costs 1 less for each card you played this game that didn't start in your deck. So this is a 0 mana 3/6 Taunt. That seems good. I'm glad they realized that maybe we shouldn't make this card like a 5/5 with Rush. Remember when Corridor Creeper was the most played card in the game? And like just a bunch of giants like Flesh Giant or whatever. It was a 0 mana 8/8 by turn like 2 or 3. So like this, because you have to actually play the card and it doesn't say discover, I think that's what makes this like not broken. I still think this is a good card, and it'll probably will see play because Mage is pretty popular just because it's fun and it's okay. It's not broken, but it's fun and it's decent. But yeah, so you actually have to play the card and not just discover it like the quest. The quest just requires you to discover. You don't have to play shit. You want to play it pretty much after you discover, so you can generate more shit, so you can discover more stuff. But yeah, seems like a good card. I personally prefer the all spell version of the Discover Mage. The minion one seemed to be lackluster. I know there's a few good lists out there. Specifically, Geminators has been Geminator. He's been killing it with a minion list that runs the Eudora, the little pirate rogue card, and then she discovers the pieces of the the loots, and then if you have the quest out, you can do some insanely wacky, crazy stuff with the treasures. However, I am not good enough nor have the RNG for a deck like that. So I opted for the all spell version that doesn't really depend on minions. But I still think this fits in the all minion one. Because like your hand gets really big with like pocket dimension and stuff. And just being able to like play this for free. Also, since it says you, I don't think the Origin Stone, it playing the two others that you choose not to play, discounts this. Which makes this card a little bit worse as well. Still think it's good though. All right, moving to Tribute Dance. 5 mana, choose a minion. Choose a different minion to transform it into. This card pisses me off because it's bad. So not only is it a 5 mana, just if there's no minions out, you don't get to do anything. Your opponent or you need a good minion. And then you also need a minion of lesser quality that you're willing to spend 5 mana to change what you already have into something that your opponent already has or you already have. Everything about this card speaks that they don't... Like, 5 mana for this is insane. Like, maybe this is so good I don't realize, but this to me is a 2 or 3 mana card max. Because if your opponent has a fucking Ragnaros out... Okay, so you're going to spend 5 mana and need a minion to transform it into the enemy Ragnaros, and then you get a Ragnaros that we all know is going to hit something besides the other Ragnaros. I'm just thinking like worst case scenarios, but that's where a card like this comes in. You need, like, this is, I'm losing, what can I do? Pay 5 mana to like, hopefully I or my opponent has a good minion. And if you have a good minion, most good minions, by the way, are all battle cries. So this, like, obviously you'd use this on a death rattle, but that death rattle decks, especially in Mage, don't exist and don't matter. And if you're copying an opponent's death rattle, it probably synergizes with their deck. So you copying a card that they have doesn't help your deck because your deck doesn't revolve around what their deck is trying to do. So I'm not sure what this is and what this is trying to accomplish other than just being a bad... It reminds me of the Druid card that was the 5 mana... It was like summon a copy of it, add 1 to your hand, shuffle 1 into your deck or something like that. It was like the Shattered Crystal or something. I don't know. They butchered that card so bad. It was such a cool Druid card that was too good. And then they changed it, and then they changed it again, and then they made it unplayable. But yeah, this reminds me of just like an even somehow worse version of that Shattered Reflections, that Druid card. So yeah, this is disappointing. As for me, Mage is just a very whimsical, fun, crazy RNG class, and I think they've done, actually, regardless of this card, a really good job with Quest Mage, because Quest Mage is obviously you have a super high highs and you have very low lows, just how the deck plays and the RNG behind it and the way it just functions and the way Discover functions and the way the Origin Zone functions, right? But they've done a really good job at getting that deck to not be insanely tier 1 or like garbage tier. Even though you have super high highs and very low lows, it still somewhere falls in between like mid to low tier B, right? I think that is an insanely, first of all, hard thing to do, and it's really fun. Like, Mage is so fun. So like they have done a good job at doing things with Mage recently that are very fun, and they've kept it in line with not being absolutely broken like some of the other bullshit we've seen. Taking a look at Sheep Mask. 4 mana, set a minion's stats to 1/1 and give it death rattle, deal 2 damage to all minions. So this is really funny because of Explosive Sheep. I didn't get this when I first looked at the card, but then I actually read the card's name and now I get it. So back in the day, Explosive Sheep was a 1/1 death rattle, deal 2 damage to everything. So you're paying 4 mana to set minions, which could be yours too. I think it's really important on a lot of these cards that you have the ability to use it on your minion or your opponent's minion. And I know that that seems stupid, but sometimes you do want to kill off your own minion in certain situations. Being able to execute your own minion to proc death rattles, you can't do because execute says enemy minion. So you always had to keep shield slam. So you actually play your own Sylvanas and then shield slam your own Sylvanas to take your opponent's minion immediately. You couldn't execute your own Sylvanas or stuff like that. So I think cards that have the ability to both be used on your opponent and yourself gives the card a lot more strength sometimes if used correctly. This card seems okay. I don't think we actually play this though. There's so much Discover in Mage that like just adding okay Mage removal or AoE eventually will come out on top and it will be a good thing for Mage. But is this a card that you're gonna like play in your deck? I guess if you have literally nothing else, like if you're trying to run all spell Mage and need to add as much AoE as possible, maybe you run one, maybe you run two if there's that much aggro, right? Like this would fuck up some Beast Hunter and some aggro Paladin. But is this going to do anything against like Murloc Paladin? Probably not. So yeah, that wraps up some of that juicy Priest and Death Knight. I'm sorry, not Death Knight, a Demon Hunter. So yeah, Demon Hunter got literal trash, nothing. Demon Hunter is nothing. And then Mage got some like, I would have said it got Sheep Mask and then Techosaurus. So basically nothing. Nothing of notable craziness of fun. So Death Knight and Druid so far look like they got the most. All right, so with that, I will catch you guys in some more card reviews soon. All right, take it easy. My name's Robert Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is.